All right, Black Seas fans and Victorum Gaming fans, we're back. We got our first video that we're going to start in our series covering the different factions for Black Seas, and we're going to start things off with Great Britain. So in the book, they basically give you a nice little overview of the faction, which you already get throughout the book anyway with various historical battles. But moving on, every faction has its own special rules, national rules, some special characters, and then famous ships, some of which have already been released and others which will probably be coming in the near future too. So on the British side, the national rules, you get two really cool ones here. Drilled, so the crew of British ships were periodically drilled in gunnery and were faster at reloading cannons than many other nations. So British ships receive a +1 to hit modifier when shooting, which is just fantastic. So the more shooting you do, really, the more that's going to pay off throughout the game. You should be hitting more than your opponents, assuming it's not a mirror match. So really nice and strong ability there, as you'd expect from the Brits. And then the Admiralty. British naval commanders were among the best in the world and commanded great respect and loyalty from their men. Each British ship can reroll one failed skill test per game. You must accept the reroll result. But that is going to be really useful for, again, testing things like striking the colors and so on and so forth. So, again, really strong when used at the right time. So then we get a couple of special characters here. So we get Admiral Lord Edward Pellew for 50 points. And his abilities here basically reroll one skill test per turn. You must accept the second result. So, and that really can combine nicely with the Admiralty as well there. So each ship gets its once per game, but then he also gives you the ability to reroll one per turn. And then the ship will never strike the colors no matter the circumstances. So basically this guy, whatever ship you put him on, he's not going to go down easily. So you're going to have to take the entire ship out, basically. Then we get Nelson, of course, Horatio Nelson. Lots of abilities here. For only 10 points more at 60 here. So every British ship within 20 inches of Nelson's ship, including his own, gains +1 to the dice roll for every skill test. And again, keep in mind, so you have the +1, and then each ship can reroll one failed skill test per game. So, so it's going to make it less likely that you're going to fail, but you still have that other ability on top of it. Also, the ship will never strike the colors, no matter the circumstances. Once per turn, each gun position on the ship Nelson is commanding can reroll one dice that fails its hit roll. So again, really strong with, on top of, again, the British national rule. And then if the ship Nelson is commanding takes damage from musket fire from a ship with a sharpshooter's upgrade, roll a d6. On a result of 1 or 2, Nelson dies. His special rules having no further effect on the game. So very colorful there. So a little bit of a risk in taking him, but again, really strong abilities throughout there. And then last we get Admiral Cuthbert Collingwood for 40 points. So every British ship within 10 inches of Collingwood, including his own, can reroll the first broadside it shoots. All dice are rerolled, and the second result must be accepted. So again, really strong for that initial shot that ships can get. So for 40 points, not bad. And that is his only ability, though. But again, could be really strong if you set yourself up for a really good excuse me, initial shots. Then we get on to the named ships, basically. So we get the Victory, which has been released, and it's just an absolute monster. So as it says here, right, 104 gun first rate of the line, and basically its special ability is that HMS Victory and all ships within 20 gain +1 to the dice roll of all skill tests. So you see lots of different ways here to basically modify and improve your skill tests, and then have ways to re-roll them as well. So depending on how you combo that together. Then we get HMS Bellerophon. Really cool ship. For every successful hit scored against her, roll a d6. On a result of a 5 or 6, takes no damage from that hit. So so kind of like almost like a feel no pain in 40k, if you're familiar with Warhammer. Really cool ability there, just to shrug off damage, basically. So so if your dice are hot, that could certainly annoy your opponents. And then we get to HMS Indefatigable. If a ship takes damage from that and is below half its original ship points, it must immediately take a strike the colors test with a -1 modifier. So really once you get that damage in on the ships, and assuming you can do it with this ship, you're going to get a lot more likely to have enemies surrender to you, which certainly can speed things up for you. So all three really cool ships, and right now, again, only Victory is out, so I'm sure we'll get these at some point. And then basically here you have then the stats on the three ships and then their point cost too. So again, Victory, really for big games, 550 points is a good chunk of points there. And then, as you can see, they get slightly smaller here. So we got Bellerophon is still a large ship, but 360 points. And then the HMS Indefatigable is 240. So that basically covers the British. So really strong faction. Again, right now we just have the four main factions. So Spain, US, and the French, of course, so which we'll be covering in separate videos. But yeah, if you're playing with the national rules, the British definitely have some really strong options, and so far seem to be definitely like the top tier fleet out of everything. But if you're playing without all that stuff, and just, again, sort of everyone has access to all the ship sizes and so on and so forth, it gets a little bit more even. But British definitely have really strong options, whether it's their national rules, the characters, or the ships themselves. There's lots of ways to combo things together where you have various rerolls, buffs to your rolls, and then ways to make the enemy surrender, hopefully a little bit faster. So yeah, can't recommend the British enough, and really just strong overall. We'll see also how these models look once they decide to release them, but yeah, you can't really go wrong with the British Navy for Black Seas. So if you haven't checked this game out yet, well worth your time. So Black Seas from Warlord Games, basically Napoleonic era naval combat. So big sailing ships, lots of cannons, really cool stuff, and great models, and just a really great game system. So if you guys have enjoyed this video, give us a like. Otherwise, stay tuned for more content. And if you could also hit us with a subscribe, every subscriber definitely helps, and we do appreciate it. And then we'll see you guys in a future video.